During the 2016 campaign, Hillary Clinton was correctly seen as sort of cozy with telecom companies and internet service providers. But Donald Trump has made it very clear that he vehemently opposes net neutrality, in spite of also making it very clear that he doesn't really know what net neutrality even is. And this is sort of an analysis for a lot of Trump's positions, which is a really strong position informed by very little knowledge about what the issue even is. And we have been talking a lot about net neutrality over the last 4 years. When we talk about a lot of these different issues, different politicians weigh in different ways. Now, Donald Trump's addressing of net neutrality was to say, quote, Obama's attack on the internet is another top-down power grab. Well, keeping the internet freer is a power grab from Obama. That doesn't really make sense. And then Trump went on to add, net neutrality is the fairness doctrine and will target conservative media. I can't even understand what Donald Trump thinks net neutrality is in order to explain to you why he's wrong. But what I can tell is that what Donald Trump is saying makes absolutely no sense. The fairness doctrine was this FCC policy that started in the 1940s and ended in 1987. So Trump suggesting that net neutrality regulations would lead to censoring online media that doesn't include opposing opinions, it's sort of a ridiculous suggestion. It makes no sense. Net neutrality regulations had nothing to do with the content of the internet directly. So fine, Trump has no idea what it is, but that doesn't matter because Donald Trump is going to be legislating on many issues where he is absolutely clueless. Trump's entire campaign was run on having opinions about things he knows nothing about. And a Trump presidency could be a disaster for broadband consumers, competition in the broadband industry, as well as the new net neutrality rules that we've been talking about for many years. Donald Trump has selected Jeffrey Eisenach, who will be heading his telecom transition team. Jeffrey spent years at an industry-funded think tank called the American Enterprise Institute. They get a ton of money from cable and these big internet corporations. Jeffrey was a paid consultant for Verizon. And Jeffrey Eisenach also has a well-documented history of being opposed to nearly all of the positions that consumer advocates support when it comes to the internet and media and net neutrality, et cetera. Plus, red alert, every indication is that internet service providers are already ramping up their ground game to try to get the FCC to walk back their classification of internet service providers as common carriers, not to rehash the entire net neutrality debate, but because we haven't talked about it for a while. When you classify internet service providers as common carriers, that gives the FCC authority to enforce net neutrality in the first place. So what has Trump been told, Pat? Well, Trump has been told, as he likes to say, that net neutrality is bad for profits. And we know Trump wants to be good for profits, not necessarily the profits that we call wages for middle income Americans, but the profits for really big corporations. This is bad. This is very bad.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is why knowledge of the issues matters, because if your advisors and experts in the field are people like Jeffrey Eisenach and Republicans on Capitol Hill, of course they're going to serve their corporate interests. I mean, most conservatives don't even back ending net neutrality.
We need to equip activists and independent media to fight this. And as Pat is mentioning here, there are issues where there may be progressive Republican alliance. And most people want internet freedom, and they sort of understand that when we talk about internet freedom, we're not talking about the freedom of companies like Comcast to do whatever they want with your internet. We're talking about the freedom of consumers to have actual competition and choice, to not have prioritization of data based on vendors and sources and platforms and all of that stuff that we've been talking about. And local politics really matter here. A lot of broadband policy and decisions are made at the city and town level. We've talked about municipal broadband. We've talked about individual cities and towns that have taken steps and made decisions to prevent companies like Comcast from coming in and saying, okay, we're the one company. Here's the 3 plans. Your price will go up every 6 months or 12 months, and there won't be anything you can do about it. Local politics matters so much, particularly when we're talking about net neutrality. And we'll be talking about this in the context of our progressive engagement coordinator and the fundraiser that we're going to be doing.